Hey everyone, it's Katrina from Om Shanti Yoga Studio. As promised, I am doing this live, so each Monday I'm going to do a little live video here on Facebook called Modification Mondays. So this is to allow you to learn how yoga can be for everyone and everybody. So when I say everybody, I mean every age group, every shaped body, people that might have some injuries. So just to throw it out there to just show you different ways that different poses and things like that can be modified. Obviously, if there's any health concerns, you should always see your health practitioner first to make sure that yoga is good for you and your body. So I guess I wanted to actually start this whole series by introducing you to a few things that you can use in your yoga practice to help you with your poses. So quite often, I guess, there's this expectation, I think now as yoga is becoming more popular, there's this kind of misconception that we need to be quite flexible, we need to be quite settled in the mind. There's all these poses out there that we see of women and men balancing on their hands and stretching their legs over their heads, and I think those pictures are awesome, but sometimes it can bring us to a place where we feel that we need to be able to do that in order to come to yoga. So in yoga, there's options to use lots of different props to help you achieve different poses. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because that way, as we go through the next few weeks, you can see how you can incorporate those props into your practice. And these are things that you could possibly find at home or alternate or swap, for other things that you might find around your home. So I guess a good one is just a simple one. So we do sometimes a lot of things on our knees in our home practice and in classes. So sometimes you can just get an old camping mat and cut up a camping mat and place under the knees. I know my knees get a bit sore sometimes, especially teaching a lot of classes a week. So even just placing some padding under the knees to help with practice. We've also got things like cushions and pillows. So a lot of time you might feel like you're in a class, and depending on your hips, you might be feeling like you're sitting like this with the knees right up high. So you can support that and relax into the body a bit more by placing something under the sit bone. So that's that bony part of the bottom, and just letting the knees relax and soften down. So pillows are great for that. Also bolsters I've got behind me. You can use a bolster if you've got something like this to sit on as well. So that's another great prop that you can use. Things like straps. So straps are really good, especially if you're tight in the body. It's like an extension of the arm. So if you're laying on your back, and hopefully you can see, and we can place the strap around the leg, and rather than having to feel like we're reaching and lifting through the shoulders, you can use the strap as an extension of your arm. And that makes things a lot better and enables you to get a stretch through the hamstrings a little bit more. So a strap is good not just for this stretch, but for things like hip openers to the side, and also using them to bring behind the body when we come into a pose like this, where you're sort of generally required to grasp the fingers at the back, but then again using the strap here as an extension of your arms to help get you into the stretch. So again, another great prop. Blocks are really good, and you can pick these up really cheap at, if you're in Australia, at Kmart, and other, sometimes other sporting places as well have them cheap. So blocks are great. You can use them to sit on, as I showed you before. You can also, when you're in, say, something like a lunge pose where you're required to bring a hand down and extend up. So coming in and bringing the block under the hand allows you to get a greater opening through the chest space. So that's just one way to use a block. But these are just, again, little examples of how you can use different props in your practice. Blankets are good as well. Again, you can roll blankets up to sit on. You can put them under the knees to support the knees. You can use them in different inversions, like a shoulder stand by placing them along the shoulders at the back of the body. So I guess today, like I said, I just wanted to introduce you to Modification Mondays and the different props that you can use to support your practice, and let you know that it's okay to use props. It doesn't mean, oh, you can't get into the pose, or, you know, it's supposed to look better than this, because we're not going for the look. We want to be structurally sound in our bodies, so we want to make sure that we're not going to injure ourselves. But you also want to support your body physically, so then you can go on to get into that right sort of headspace in the pose, be able to connect to the breath and relax the body a bit more. And as you'll find, perhaps over time, there'll be you might not need a block in a certain pose. You might not need a strap in a certain pose. But you may also find that due to your bone structure, you might always need to use that support, and that's okay, because it's better to be safe and be able to, as I said before, feel that you can get into the pose and connect to the breath and become aware of what's going on in your body, rather than going, oh, I just need to get a deeper stretch, I want to go further, I want to touch the toes, I want to be able to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do in that pose. That's not the goal of yoga. And so I just wanted to give you permission, so you can give yourself permission to use everything that you need in your practice to support your body. So even if that is going forward, using as many supports as possible to help you start to slowly extend your practice. So when you step into a yoga class, or you're at home doing a practice, don't feel that you can't use them. And if you normally don't use them, can I suggest that perhaps when you come into class, or if you're at home, grab some props. You can find replacement things around your house. You don't have to go out spending money on a whole heap of stuff to support your practice. But use some things, and just even if you're not used to using props, give them a go and see how it changes your practice. It's okay. And remember that yoga or the asana practice is only a small portion of the yoga practice. So asana is the poses that we do in class, and that's only a small portion of what yoga is about. So I'd love for you to join me next week, where we'll go into more detail in some different poses and ways that you can modify. Feel free with each of these videos as well to pop in some questions, or if there's a particular area that you would like to learn some modifications for, pop it in as a question on this video, even if it's, you're watching this 2 or 3 days later, pop it in as a question, and I will make sure that I answer that question in the following week in the Modification Mondays. And if I'm not sure, I will definitely look into it and get those answers for you, so that way, if that's a pose that's been troubling you, I can get that covered for you as well. So thank you for joining me, if you're live now, or if you are coming and having a look at this video afterwards. This is a really good place to start to feel comfortable and in your body within your yoga practice. Have an awesome day, yogis, and namaste.